May 27th, 2015. A luxury hotel in Zurich, Switzerland. Inside, some of the most powerful figures in world football were preparing for another FIFA meeting. Then, everything changed. Before sunrise, Swiss police entered the hotel. Several FIFA officials were arrested. Not in secret, not behind closed doors, in front of the entire world. The allegations were explosive. Bribery, corruption, money laundering, and an investigation that would eventually expose what U.S. authorities described as decades of misconduct inside football's governing body. For many fans, it felt impossible. How could the organization behind the world's most beloved sporting event be at the center of one of the biggest scandals in sports history? But here's what's even more surprising. That wasn't the first FIFA controversy, and it definitely wasn't the last. Because more than a decade later, as the 2026 World Cup approaches, FIFA is once again facing criticism. Questions over immigration policies, ticket prices, extreme heat, human rights concerns, and the challenges of organizing the biggest World Cup ever created. At this point, controversy and FIFA seem to arrive together. And that's what makes this story fascinating. Because the FIFA World Cup isn't just a football tournament. It's a multi-billion-dollar business, a political battlefield, a global influence machine, and perhaps the most controversial sporting event on Earth. So how did football get here? To understand that, we need to go back more than a century. In 1904, representatives from 7 European nations gathered in Paris. Their mission was simple: create a single organization to govern international football. That organization became FIFA. At the time, football was growing rapidly, but international competition was chaotic. Different countries followed different rules. FIFA promised order, standardization, and a unified future for the sport. Nobody could have predicted what would happen next. Over the following century, football exploded in popularity. Today, FIFA has 211 member associations, more than the United Nations. Its flagship event, the FIFA World Cup, attracts billions of viewers around the globe. And while fans see FIFA as a sports organization, behind the scenes, it operates one of the most powerful entertainment businesses on Earth. Broadcasting rights, sponsorships, licensing deals, commercial partnerships. These generate billions of dollars every tournament cycle. Football became global, and FIFA became powerful. But power creates opportunity, and opportunity attracts competition. And nowhere was that competition more intense than in the battle to host the World Cup. The first FIFA World Cup took place in Uruguay in 1930. Just 13 teams participated. Compared to today's tournament, it was tiny. But television changed everything. Suddenly, matches could be watched by entire nations, then entire continents, and eventually the entire planet. The World Cup evolved from a sporting competition into a global spectacle. Governments noticed. Hosting the tournament could boost tourism, improve infrastructure, attract investment, and perhaps most importantly, reshape a country's image on the world stage. The World Cup became more than football. It became soft power. And once countries realized what was at stake, the bidding wars began. Because when global prestige is the prize, people become willing to do almost anything. Every World Cup begins with a battle behind closed doors. Countries spend years preparing bids, building relationships, making promises, trying to convince FIFA that they deserve the tournament. Officially, the process is about choosing the best host. Critics, however, have questioned whether every decision was based purely on merit. Nothing sparked more controversy than FIFA's announcement in 2010. Russia would host the 2018 World Cup. Qatar would host the 2022 World Cup. The announcement stunned many observers. Qatar had never hosted an event of that scale. Summer temperatures regularly exceeded 40 degrees Celsius. Massive infrastructure projects would be required. Questions appeared immediately. How was the decision made? Were all votes cast fairly? Could Qatar realistically deliver the tournament? The debate would continue for years. But while the public argued about host nations, investigators were looking somewhere else entirely. May 2015. The Zurich hotel raid wasn't random. It was the beginning of a scandal now known as FIFAGate. American investigators alleged that corruption inside international football had existed for decades. According to prosecutors, officials accepted bribes in exchange for marketing rights, tournament deals, and commercial contracts. The numbers were staggering. Millions of dollars allegedly moved through secret arrangements. Football executives became criminal defendants, sponsors became nervous, fans became skeptical, and suddenly, FIFA's image as the guardian of football was collapsing. The scandal eventually led to major leadership changes. Longtime FIFA president Sepp Blatter left office. Reforms were announced. Governance structures were changed. FIFA promised a new era. But many people weren't convinced because even after the arrests, controversy continued following the World Cup. By the time Qatar hosted the 2022 World Cup, FIFA found itself facing another storm. Criticism came from multiple directions. Human rights organizations raised concerns about migrant worker welfare. Others questioned the decision to move the tournament from summer to winter. Political leaders weighed in. Media outlets debated the issue constantly. Supporters argued that Qatar successfully delivered a modern tournament. Critics argued that important questions remained unanswered. Regardless of where people stood, one thing was undeniable. The World Cup was no longer just a sporting event. Every hosting decision now carried political, economic, and social consequences. And that brings us to FIFA's latest challenge. 2026. The 2026 FIFA World Cup will be the biggest in history. 48 teams, 104 matches, 3 host nations: the United States, Canada, and Mexico. On paper, it sounds like a celebration of football's growth, but critics see potential problems. Questions have been raised regarding immigration policies and visa access for international fans. Others have pointed to ticket affordability. Human rights groups have urged FIFA and organizers to strengthen protections for workers and vulnerable communities. Climate experts have highlighted extreme summer temperatures in several host cities. And then there's the challenge of scale. Never before has the tournament been this large. Never before has it involved so many cities across multiple countries. The logistics alone are staggering. Yet perhaps the most interesting part isn't the controversy itself, it's how familiar it all sounds. Different tournament, different host nations, same debates. Which raises an uncomfortable question. Is FIFA unusually controversial, or has the World Cup simply become too powerful? The answer may lie in FIFA's success. The World Cup isn't just a football tournament anymore. It's a political event, an economic event, a media event, a cultural event. When billions of people are watching, every decision matters. Who hosts, who benefits, who pays, who profits, who gets left behind. Every answer creates winners and losers. And where there are winners and losers, controversy follows. That's why FIFA faces criticism from governments, from activists, from journalists, from fans. Not because football is controversial, but because the World Cup has become one of the most influential events on Earth. And influence attracts scrutiny. Every 4 years, the same thing happens. Stadiums fill, the world watches, heroes are created, history is written. And for a few weeks, football unites billions of people. Yet behind every trophy celebration lies another story. a story of money, power, influence, politics, and decisions that affect entire countries. From a hotel raid in Zurich to the debates surrounding the 2026 World Cup, FIFA's history shows that football's biggest tournament has never been just about football. And as the World Cup continues to grow larger than ever before, one question remains: will FIFA ever escape controversy, or has the world's biggest sporting event become too powerful to avoid it? Fade to black.